Hey, good to see you today. Today I'm going to make these little fall tags, cards. They could be, I'm using one as a bookmark. And I found a style that I like, that I created. And so I'm just going to make them all the way I like them. The three pumpkins, I like the turquoise with the brown and the orange. And it's just very simple. And instead of trying to create something each time, I'm just making some of these for my friends this fall. And I've made 3, and I'm going to make some more. And all I do, and we'll take one, I've pre-cut these. These are 3 by 4 inch watercolor paper that I have pre-cut to make as many as I want. And what I'm going to do first is round the corners. You don't have to. It's just fine to leave them pointed, but curving them is just a style that I'm going to use with this particular card. And then I pre-punched the hole so that I kind of know where my limits are, and I don't go up in, you know, like a design up here and then punch a hole through it. And then what I do here, the first thing I do is just start with the bottom of this pumpkin, kind of dot very lightly the outline of all these pumpkins. And then I take my pen, I'll be taking my 03 and outlining them and then watercoloring. And that's just the process I like to do it. Some people just watercolor only, but I like the, I like this adds definition, gives it kind of a antique kind of look. And so that's what I'm going to do. So let's get started here. So let's just, down here from the center, let's just do the little round bottom of the pumpkin. And then I try not to go too terribly high, because the other 2 are going to sit up here. Can always erase the lines. It's not a problem. And then I'll just use this as a template. And then this one's kind of a tall pumpkin. This is kind of tall and round. They're all slightly different shapes. And pumpkins do have a lot of different shapes. Just a very basic. And I figure if I like this card, then why not stick with that design? Okay, they look different enough. And then I'll just, let's see if you can see that outline good. It's just a real, very light, very light. And then once I have it, then I can use my pen. I like the little tops to kind of face inward. And you can vary it, and they kind of come out of the pumpkin. And then this one, I usually aim in. So they're all kind of going towards the center. Some of them are kind of, some will be wonky. That's kind of cute. And then we'll add these little squigglies, a few leaves for color. So let's get started here. Now, to look at it now, it looks very uneventful, but by the time we add all the little lines for dimension and just little natural elements at the bottom, you'll be amazed what it'll do, how it'll change. One thing that really helps here is to make these lines on the bottom thick. It adds shadow and weight so the pumpkins aren't so suspended and equal. And then these lines, I go over them a little bit more so they differentiate from the lines that you use to create shape. Very random. And then these little lines too, and just kind of create a rough edge. And I usually create a little shadow up here too. So let's do that here as well on this little pumpkin. Very random lines. Just do it till you feel like you've got the look you want. And it still doesn't look like much, but it'll improve. And when we get the colors going, that'll really be fun. And if your pumpkin's kind of strange shaped, that's okay. Every pumpkin is different. And there are some pretty strange looking ones out there. Okay, so we can always add more if we want, but first let's add a little weight at the bottom. A little shadow. So these are sitting on something. Now let's add some little sprigs. Okay, I think we're good. Can always add a little bit more, but right now we're going to work on our colors. Okay, so for some reason, I don't know why, I like to start from the bottom. We'll give it just a little wet on the bottom so that the color that I choose will be not so harsh. And what I'm going to do is pull some of my yellow here. I need to make a little bit more, but you don't need much. Just a little bit of watercolor goes a long way. And it's just awesome how it works. And I think I'll add just a little bit of brown here. I usually go for a little bit of brown, and then while I have brown on the brush, we're going to do the stems of the pumpkin. I kind of decide what I want as the color scheme, and then when I have that color on my brush, everything that I want that color I just do, at least if I can. Sometimes you have to go back and pick up that color again. And then I'll probably, these are looking pretty good, but I like them kind of dark at the base to add a little bit of dimension. These stems could be green if you wanted them to as well. Then let's add just a little bit here, a little bit more shading. And I got on the pumpkin a little bit, that's okay, not a big deal. So I'm gonna clean my brush, and then I think I'm gonna do the leaves. And this is kind of a fun little green. You could make them orange, you could make them red, you could do whatever you want. And now I'm going to do this right pumpkin. Give it a little water first. Doesn't need a lot because I don't really want it to bleed, but I do want it to kind of just pick up this color. And I'll probably go back over this because when it dries, it'll lighten up. And I like the hodgepodge look. I went out a little bit there, so I'm going to have to go with it. But that's kind of what's endearing. Then let's do this one. This one's a little trickier because I like this tan, and so I have to kind of create it. And so I kind of create it using just very little of this brown that's down here. It's not so much dark. And then I like the white. I love those colors together, the white and tan. And let's just kind of leave that as it is for now. Then we're going to do the turquoise, which I have mixed here. This turquoise. I didn't water the pumpkin, so let's see what we get. It's still nice and light. Let's go ahead and add our water here. Biggest thing is going to be achieving this darkness. If this mix is too light, then I need to go to the color and just pick up a little bit more and dot it in here. There we go. I like that pretty well. And then to finish it off, I'm going to go back to my favorite color of all, which is this kind of a warm, sunny color. Let's test it out here. I love that. And then I'm just going to let that color bleed throughout. I like mixing colors in that if there is yellow here, you'll see it throughout. And most of these colors kind of do mix and match a little bit, the brown and the yellow. The turquoise is the only thing that stays on this one pumpkin. And then we have the orange, but it has a little bit of yellow on it now. And then really, I'm happy with this card. I'm very happy with this. I think it's beautiful. And I will let that dry and make a few more. And we'll just keep going. See, this was out of line, and it's just darling. It's just darling. And I'm going to keep making these. I'll put some ribbon on these, and they'll be great gifts for people. And if you enjoy this, I hope you give it a try and send me a picture of what you've done. You'll create your own, and it'll have your own unique design in it. I would love to see it. So have a good one. Thanks for stopping by.